terrific to present ourselves in person. You know, we try to advertise on a weekly basis and Eastman highlights what we offer when we have special educational programs and so on and so forth. But I think just seeing us in person and interacting with us one-on-one might be a good way for us to promote what we do. So, thank you, Bill. I was thinking, where is the remote?
Yeah, first technical glitch.
We are recording it, so we can put it on the portal for those who can't be here, and then we'll at least be able to see the slides for the presentation. So EastmanCARES is a committee, first and foremost, just like there are many committees here in our community. So it's committee work. It's a small group, we have about 15 people. We meet once a month, and we talk about what kind of supports does our community need. That's the hardest part, figuring out what our community needs, right? And so we talk about things, and it's really helpful because we all know our neighbors and our friends, and we try to stay in tune to what's happening in the community so that we try to take care of needs or support needs that are out there. So this is our mission statement, and what we've done for many years is we provide resources, support. We try really careful not to use the word services because they're all volunteers, and we provide education programs. I don't know if you saw the program. The last one we did is with Marty, was talking about pandemic, global pandemic. It was about a year ago. So that's what we do. And the supports that we offer are usually the ideas of our committee members. It's like their brainchild, like they come up with a thought, like this is an example, Bill, I want to help with tech. Because I want to do technology, you know, and be able to help people with that. So it starts with an individual coming up with an idea. And then as chair, I'm their cheerleader. I'm there to back them up, to say, okay, how can we make this happen? And it's as simple as that. That's what we do. So the first person I'm going to introduce to you is our volunteer driver coordinator. And that's Steve Rudolph, right behind me. And we have volunteer drivers, and Steve can talk about this support.
Good afternoon. First of all, I don't talk in front of people, and Elise said there'd only be one person here. So the only person I do talk in front of is my wife, and she doesn't listen anyway. So this is all new to me. And I got my little cheat sheet here. So let's see where I go. Okay. So you know who I am. I'm Stephen Rudolph, and I get this wrong. I am the EastmanCARES volunteer driver program leader type of thing. Okay, so I coordinate the rides with the people that need the rides. Okay, and I've been here for, my wife and I moved here in 2018, and we will move full time in 2021. And I learned about this program, and it's more of like neighbors helping neighbors, which is something I think is really critical in an environment like this. And I've been doing this job for about a year and a half now. So basically, what does the program do? So like I said, neighbors helping neighbors. And basically a lot of it has been driving for medical appointments for people, many, many places. I've driven a lot to the Dartmouth coach in Lebanon and London. I mean, we do pharmacies, we do grocery stores, hardware stores, but I haven't dealt with any of that. Okay. And basically, at this point, I think that, you know what, if somebody needs to do something, I'm not limited. And if they want to call and they want us to drive to California and somebody wants to do it, then we'll let them do it. So we don't have any hardcore rules. How it works is the volunteers drive their own cars, so it's their own vehicles, and we try to do it between 8 and 5 p.m. And we want, if we can, like 36 hours of advance notice, so at least we can, work on it, but that doesn't happen that often. Sometimes people just call the day before, and I have a list of drivers, like 13 drivers, and we just see who can do it, who can help out, and it works really well, I think. And the calls go through South Cove, and we also have an email address that's listed there at the bottom of the contact list. So a lot of times why I think this is really critical, and I did this when I lived in Connecticut, if someone has just come out of the hospital and they can't drive temporarily, then we want to help them do what they need to do. And I also think for some people it provides, independence for them. If they want to get somewhere and they can't drive anymore, it's a great thing for that. And it keeps people connected to the community, because I've met a lot of people just driving them, and a lot of people at the end say that, they'd like to become volunteers. This is great. We can use as many volunteers as we can get. That way we can accommodate more things for people, and that is always important. First of all, I'd like to thank our current drivers. I don't know all of them. I met one on the pickleball court. I was playing with her, and and she told me her name, and I said, "Oh, are you one of my drivers?" She said, "Yeah." She said, "I haven't given a ride yet, but," so I thought that was pretty funny. So, and even occasional drivers can help. And so whoever can do anything, Chuck is over there at the table. If anybody wants to sign up, I'm selling Chuck there to anybody can go over there and sign up. And let's see what else. Contact information is on the slide. And we're not supposed to be on too long, because I think I get kicked off after 5 minutes. Bill cuts me right off. So are we doing questions at the end, or? Okay, does anybody have any questions? Go right ahead.
Advance time you need?
Well, we'd like 36 hours, but when people call, the day before, and they say, it's doctor's appointment or whatever. And we've had a few things where sometimes you have to be a dedicated driver if someone's gonna have a certain kind of test at the hospital, and they want the driver to stay with them. That's not something we normally do, but the drivers are willing to do that, or have the time and the capacity to do it. So
If they drive you to the hospital, can we text, get you back?
oh no, we'll plan it out before. No, we'll drive you back. We'll run errands or do something depending how long the test is, and then maybe another driver can drive back. But that's why the more advanced notice we get, the easier it will.
Sir.
Yeah, well, and you know what? The other day, a fella who got really hurt on his bicycle, he needed to drive to the car dealership. And I said, "Sure, I'll give you a drive," and I'll drive you there. And he picked up his car and came back. So I'll just throw it out to the drivers, whatever it is. And there's a woman who is 85, and her husband's very elderly, and she's with a lot of medical appointments, and he can't drive her so much anymore. So we could work out a schedule if we had to, if someone needs to go to a recurring, maybe physical therapy or something like that. So we're just gonna see how this goes. And I just throw it out there. If we can do it, great. If we can't, we can't. Anything else? Yeah.
One more, I just want to thank you for picking me up at 11:15 in the middle of the winter, but I at the bus stop. My flight got changed, and my ride that I was expecting to get back, and I was outside of the hours, but I sent an email within the time. He wrote me right back and said, "When you want me to be here?" I was like, "Oh, wow, thank you."
Well,
Thank you, Steve. Great. So next support we have is tech support. Now, how many people in this room have never heard of that? Very popular support. So we're gonna have Bill speak. Bill Mass.
So I'm done. You all know about the service. Many of you were customers, and I thank you for that. My name is Bill Nansen, if you haven't met me before. And we've lived in Eastman for about 13 years now, 15 years. And one day, I was helping a friend with some technology problems and said, "This is kind of fun." And I just come off the board, was looking for something to keep me from getting into trouble, and decided this was And it's something I'd like to do. Since then, October of 23 is when we started. We've had 578 cases and about 500 hours worth of tech support that's been provided. A lot of them are half an hour, some of them take forever. And you just don't know as the test when you get started exactly how complicated it is going to be. If you like solving puzzles, that's kind of what this is about. And the solving of the puzzles has gotten easier over time because we have this thing called artificial intelligence. So you go to Google and you type exactly the question you have, and more often than not only will you get step-by-step instructions in writing, but you get a video that will walk you through it. Now, I'm hesitant to tell you that because AI will ultimately work me out of my tech job if you sign on to your computer and look up the question that you have and want to get an answer to. Lots of different services that we provide, probably the two biggest. Interestingly enough, the number one service. Anybody want to guess what the number one service is that is provided by Tech Help? The TV is a good guess. That's probably a close second. What's that? Garage door opener is way down on the list and is an awful tech call because sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It is setting up my printer so it talks to my computer. Oh boy, I love those calls because they usually take about 5 minutes and then we can spend the next 45 minutes just talking. You got a new router, this and that happens, and the printer isn't talking to your phone or to your computer anymore, and we get you set back up. How many people here have internet in their house? If you're a Comcast customer or Xfinity customer, and you're paying more than $70 a month, you're paying too much, and I can help you with that. Yeah, many people have switched over to Fidium. Amy was an early adopter in doing that and is still alive and well. She got enough out of the internet that she knew she should come here today at lunchtime and see what else is out there to learn. Oh, yeah.
I am having work done around my house and these guys have no idea that I have a ring camera. I am barely talking.
Now, Amy got the Ring camera because the delivery people had knocked down the stakes that she had along her driveway. And they said, no, I didn't do it. And she said, yeah, so we got a Ring camera set up for her and we only had to send it back twice because it was
their fault.
It was their fault, not ours. But that's one of those tech calls that takes forever because you're doing everything right and it still doesn't work. But it's a lot of fun. I've enjoyed meeting and working with lots of people in the room and lots of people in the community. And I'm always happy to help. To get me, the best way to do it is EastmanCARES.techhelp@gmail.com, that email address that you see on the screen. If your technology isn't working, which is a real possibility if you're trying to reach out for tech help, you can also come to South Cove, fill out a form, and they will send it to me and we'll get to you that way. So those are the main highlights. I'll take questions that you might have about the service or what kinds of things are being done. Rebuttals? Mitch!
How backlogged are you right now, Bill?
How backlogged am I right now?
Oh, we get like, we'll give her 2 months of calls and requests.
I get about 20 calls a month. Right now, I really don't have a backlog. If I'm on vacation or down in Boston, sometimes, take a couple weeks, a week or so. But a lot of times, I'm watching my computer and I'll get back to you the same day.
Are you the only one who does it?
For the most part, I'm the only one who does it. Every once in a while, I'll get a person to help pitch in a pinch. But if I'm around, I've been doing most of this. Other questions? All right, seeing that there are none and seeing that 5 minutes is the magic number. Next person we're going to introduce is Carol Prado, and she is going to talk about a cool new service in terms of helping people make their homes accessible.
Hello, I am Carol Prado. I live on Moon Drive. And I don't have anything funny to say, like these guys, although I do have a joke that I might, but anyway. Just so you understand where I'm coming from, so I moved here 6 years ago, I live next to Barney. And my background is in designing space for long-term care, hospitals, schools. That was my life. And so I wanted to see how I could bring that here. And so the light bulb went off and I've done a lot of work with accessibility. I thought, well, let's say somebody breaks a leg and they go home and they can't figure out how to get from this room to that room. Or if they are more permanently dealing with some difficulties in mobility, let's take a look at how we might be able to change the physical environment, such as maybe taking doors off hinges, or do we need to just change this threshold by like a quarter of an inch so it's easier for you to ambulate with maybe your device that you use to move around? Lighting is another area where people just kind of forget that they need more light as they age. So we can take a look at that. And I was gonna say, one of the things I really can't help you with is like hearing and sound. That's really up to you. And I'm just thinking of this funny card that I have, a greeting card, where one of the partners says to the other one, "Would you like a cookie?" And the partner responds, "Sure, I'd like some cookie." So that's my joke. I tried. But and then let's see. Oh, so downsizing. Oh gosh, who doesn't feel good after you get rid of so much stuff? So I'm happy to help you with that. I'm happy to help you with, let's say, you can't reach things that are high anymore. Let's take a look at reorganizing your life so that everything is more, say, countertop height, that sort of thing. And okay, I mentioned lighting and, generally aging in place. I mean, that's kind of where EastmanCARES started. We wanted to help people that needed more help as they age. So that's kind of where I like to plug in my energy. And I'm eastmancares.aid@gmail. And so, do you have any questions? All right.
Thank you, Carol. So as you can see, it's a free consultation and Carol has all the answers, so certainly reach out to her. This is a brand fairly new support. So I did want to just say that Rob Morrison is our small jobs handyman guy. This was Rob's idea. About a year and a half ago, he approached me at one of the morning coffee meet and greet at town hall, and after he knew that I was the chair of EastmanCARES committee, and he said, "I'm an engineer in training, and I love doing small jobs." So he wanted to provide the support, and he's been terrific, as you all know. He can't be with us today, but Bill was willing to speak about Rob because he's helped Rob a few times. The benefit of the slides are so the emails are up there for your copy, and we don't have to keep repeating the emails, but it's really a good way to consult. These emails go directly to the support person, and that's how you interact. Or like Bill has mentioned, you can come to South Cove and talk with the administrative staff here, and they can email for you. Thank you, Bill.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I have had a chance to work with Rob on a couple of different jobs. Rob will say he looks exactly like the picture. You'll have to judge for yourself once you have him come over and help you with the small job to see how that fits. I will also tell you, Rob has the coolest tools. I am so jealous when I go out for a call with Rob, and he's got headlights, he's got all these cool things. because I like doing some of this stuff, but he is much better at it and has a much better array of tools to help support. We worked together on a job for Barb Jones, moving or putting up a TV. Yeah, and I did the electronic part and he helps make sure that we had it anchored properly and all that kind of stuff. So those are the kinds of things that we're looking at. It's small jobs, you know, if you want to have an addition put on your home, that is not what this is about. It's more about some of the simple things, hanging pictures, handrails, towel bars that are loose, a shower head, which is simple plumbing, not to replumb the bathroom. Patching a hole in drywall, that's a good one, because most of us, even it's small. So there's a lot of different things that he can and does do. He, like myself, gets the emails that come in and then schedule some time with you as we should be. Questions in terms of small jobs and what Rob does, because we can make up anything right now and he's not committed to it. All right. That said, I think the next Carol is next. You moved to Janet is the next one up, and she. Oh.
It's so much of a question, but we should let people know that if they need things like a doorbell or whatever, they supply that and you install.
I was saying we could sign up Rob to do whatever you want, but I don't think Rob would supply the hardware, but supplies the know-how to do it. And by the way, some of this stuff is simple.
Yeah.
Changing light bulbs. There are some folks in our community that getting up to a high place and changing a light bulb is not an easy or safe thing to do. Smoke alarm batteries. There's another good example. So be creative in your thinking about the things that are not looking around your house, and he will be able to help. I'd also introduce Russell. Russ has been helping Rob on small jobs as well. Again, Russ has talent, which is kind of cool. Woodworking things. A lot of the stuff you see out here on the deck.
You put together
all that furniture, which is another small job, by the way. So these are folks that have real talent, and they're going to give their services free to folks here in Eastman, which is a really cool part about living in this community. Other questions? All right, Janet. Oh, Kara, you can't ask a question. You're here.
It was, how many small jobs people does it take to change a light bulb?
I think it's 4. One to change the light bulb and the other 3 just to consult. Yeah, just 1. All right, now that she's got this joke out, she's got a whole list of them. The next person I'd like to introduce, just handing off the microphone, it is Janet. Janet just helped a friend of mine in this specific space. This is a true treasure and resource, and it's great that we could hear from her about the things she's doing.
Thank you. Yeah, my name is Janet Lowell, and I have been a nurse, registered nurse for, 35 or 40 years, I don't remember now. And I've been here in Eastman for over 30 years. And I worked at Dartmouth Hitchcock as an oncology nurse, care manager, and also as a Lebanon community nurse with elders in their homes for 5 years after I retired. So I'm very committed to providing care to people at home. The main points would be that we want to make sure they have resources, that they're safe at home, and that they are cognitively able to function at home, because that can be a real problem, especially when they live alone, unless they've got really great neighbors, family, or whatever, church. And a lot of people don't have anything like that at all. Now, what we would provide for someone is support, education, and also, monitoring, you know, of their status. We don't, do direct patient care, because I don't have a license now, I haven't renewed it. Because I don't meet the criteria, I'm not working, enough hours. But, we try to evaluate, with a person, if we get a referral, the patient has to agree to be visited and to participate in the program. Because sometimes family wants it done and the patient doesn't. And it really is a very difficult situation there. And it's a process, but it can be very frustrating for everyone. We can do home visits for support and assessment, like a blood pressure, but other than that, we're not really able to do much hands-on care. We make referrals to resources if whatever is needed. And one way to determine what is needed is, there is a wonderful program out of Lake Sunapee, VNA, called An Ounce of Prevention. And what that is a program where you can call directly, or you can get a referral from your doctor, which isn't really necessary, for a one-time visit, which includes occupational therapy for cognition, functioning, safety, physical therapy also for safety, and an assessment of stability, walking, whatever. There's no charge for that service. However, if other services are warranted, it would need to be covered by insurance or private pay. And that would be discussed at the time, and you would need a doctor's okay for that. The other thing is, the cognition is really quite an issue when people live in a home alone, and are isolated, because we run into that a lot. I've had a lot of cases with that. I've had a lot of cases with bereavement, needing support. Your whole life has changed when you've lost a partner or any of your family. And we do provide in-home visits, you know, whatever needs to happen. And if there needs to be other referrals, we'll certainly try to get those made as long as the patient agrees. The other things we can do is Dartmouth Hitchcock Aging Resource Center has some wonderful programs for chronic disease. That's another area that we kind of work with too, whether they're stable or if the disease is progressive. And that can be Parkinson's, that can be Alzheimer's, it can be diabetes, it can be many things. I can't name them all, but anyway, it's a way for them to get education, to get support, and to be aware of what there is around, because many times people don't realize that. So we kind of just act as a medium to all of that, but it can be tough with this issues between the patient and the family. It's always interesting, right, Bill? So anyway, that's generally what it is. We can support people with telephone calls, with emails, with home visits, whatever is the best way for that patient and family.
Any questions for Ken?
If you handle an isolated person, what you do to help that person? Get
Well-
isolation?
Well, we would see if how physically how they work. Does anybody know the two main reasons why people can't live at home alone?
Yeah, right.
Pardon?
Yeah.
Dry.
Can't go. No, it's cognition, because they're not able to take care of themselves. And it's falls. So we're trying to prevent the falls. And Dartmouth Hitchcock has some great programs. And as I mentioned, this ounce of prevention is really a good program that does a professional assessment. So and the question is there family around? Are there friends around? Are there organizations around, churches, your special place chair, or people that might be willing to visit or help out, it's varies so much, it really does. It's hard, because then you lots of times you get to the point where someone really isn't able to be at home, and who is the decision maker? Do they have their advanced directives, for healthcare? And that's another big thing, really big thing that it's done, and that will come through probably the social worker through an agency. But everyone needs to have that done, really. Otherwise, it's a nightmare, really. Now, any questions at all? We're all unhappy, right? Okay, thank you. You can reach me at the EastmanCARES. And I will get back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet. She reminded me of how we learned about 10 years ago through our committee that Eastman, we live in a rural environment. And I try to keep that in mind all the time. However, we have resources that are so close to us. We're in Dartmouth's backyard. We're in Council on Aging, New London, Kearsarge. They have lots of resources. And as Janet mentioned several times, there are so many resources out there. So I view our committee as the first step that people reach out to, and then we put you in touch with what you need. So that's how we look at ourselves. Now I'm going to introduce Chet Bankowski. Chet came up with this idea of support about a year and a half ago, and we've been working on it, and it's really starting to gain some momentum. So Chet, I want to speak to your support.
I'm up here, I'm all alone. I don't have anybody living with me. My house is in the woods. Neighbors really would have to make an effort to come and see. So I started asking when I got up here if there was a way for someone to check in on me every day to see if I'm okay. And I could not find anybody. So I came up with, I called them the Good Morning Buddies. Well, it originally started out as you would get a phone call in the morning, and the phone call would say, it's gonna be a beautiful day today, time to get out on the lake. And that was it, short of message. That has changed. It's right now, the ones that seem to be working, and Elaine is here, she'll let you know. We're calling it click buttons. I send a message as I agree with my buddy that after 7:30 in the morning I can send a message. If I don't send a message out by 11, they have information of who I choose to get in touch with. Now, it could be anyone, it could be your neighbor that you choose to be with, it could be a friend down the road. But it's a way of making sure that I send a message and then they send the message back. And this was the cleanest, easiest way that it's going. And Elaine, you want to make any comments?
Sure. Chet came. Chet came to my special place meeting in West Cove and talked about this program back in the winter, I guess, Chet, I don't know exactly. But I was like, oh my gosh, because I live by myself now. And have been having some of these same concerns about getting through the winter when everyone leaves and your visitors stop and nobody's checking in with you and half of your condo strip is in Florida or somewhere else. And so I was paired up with, I live in West Grove C. I was paired up with another lady in West Grove A, who's not by herself, but she wanted to be a buggy. And so we text every day, somewhere between, I guess it's like 7 and 9 or 10. And we just do a chat test, send a little message back and forth. And we get to use all our emojis and stuff, you know, little smiley face and all that. But we basically touch base and it's turned into where we don't see each other all the time, even though we live close, but we're kind of friends now, and it's like, oh, good day for, you know, the kayak, or are you going to the cross-country group this afternoon? And just kind of, you know, it makes you know that that person's okay too. We've even done this while we were traveling, that's how regular it's been. And I would just say it's really nice to know, because who said that before? I mean, I could be dead on the floor for days and probably no one would know. All my family lives out of town. And even the people who do come, a lot of folks who come part-time, they don't know who their neighbors are, and you know, that's fine. But this was just a way to give me some peace of mind about it. And it's quick and easy. We're very tech-savvy ladies, so we text. But that's it. No, if anybody has any questions, you can ask me later.
What this program is an opt-in, which means you have to decide you want to be involved with it. And it's a self-help group. There's nobody else who's gonna help you, like Elaine said. I had heard of a guy who spent 30 hours on the floor and he's living for 75. And then someone else mentioned that there was another incident that happened elsewhere. So this is not a you know, we have these buttons, well, you press the button and then what? You get a call from the person and they have instructions. If it's a real good neighbor, you pass keys back and forth. Your neighbor will come into your house and check for what you want to get opt-in. I have no control over what you talk about. You're talking about going out skiing and whatnot, you know, that's fine, but it's to have, you know, some kind of message here that comes in every day and we respond to it. Or you stuff to your response. So, any questions? Okay.
Thank you, Jack. Thanks. Awesome. So we just pair people up, or they can choose. It's just one other person interacting with. It's not like there's 10 people that have information. So in these last slides are another thing our committee does, and we've done this for over 10 years, is we provide an EastmanCARES local community assistance resource guide. And of course, this is ever changing with all the resources that are in our community. So we update it every 6 months. And when I think Becky Myers, one of our committee members there, she is the one who has always formatted this. She's been involved with this for many, many years. From what we initially started this. And this is what we do. It's in paper form. There's some in the back of the room. They're always in the South Cove entry area and the Eastman office entry area. It's also on the portal. So when you go on the portal, if many of you are familiar with the portal, right? Under Live Here, EastmanCARES, it's all electronic on the portal. So it's great when people email myself and have a question, I can go right to that portal, copy that link, and answer their question directly and then provide a resource. So it's available in a couple of different formats. So that's our resource. I do want to thank everyone today. Yes, chat question.
I think one thing you might point out as far as the Jeff talking about is our security people will not. You'll cover that in policy. It will not come into your office.
Okay,
And because this is one of the things where Jeff program assist you in having some contact if you need help.
so because it's being recorded, and sometimes this sounds a little different here, I'm going to repeat what Chuck is saying. Chuck is reminding me to remind everyone in this room that particularly when we're talking about good morning buddies, what we've learned is that Eastman security will not enter people's homes. And with that said, good morning buddies is really just this texting back and forth. But if you don't hear from that person, there's this agreement that you have with each other. For Elaine, I can use you as an example. You have a key to your home, your buddy knows where it is. It's that simple, in that if you're not reached after a day, that your buddy has agreed to go in and see how it's doing. And what Chuck is pointing out that are not reaching out to Eastman security. Now, with that said, if people are concerned, you can always call the police will come to your home. There's always that. But Eastman security, we've been reminded by management there, do not enter people's homes. Yes,
Because I just want to say that my buddy has. They have like two key family members, one's a little more local than the other, but I put a couple notes down for both, this one works, this one doesn't. You know, so that if they needed to get someone on the path, they can do that, I have. Phone numbers, the phone numbers were, and I also put on there, the fact that if I was in a medical emergency or something, that my buddy was the one who called and who I don't remember. I have on there that she should tell him that I haven't been with the directly with us until this emergency people have come. So it's what I chose to tell her, and she sent me her information. Her husband is and a few other facts were by their keys.
Right, so to clarify for the recording, that what Elaine is pointing out, that with your buddy, your buddy has a list of phone numbers, like family members to call, you know, adult children, a sister, and then also that where your advanced directives are, so that if the buddy is calling 911, that they're being told EMS that you have advanced directives online. So all of this, again, is just this, that's why we're calling it buddies, because it's just one other individual that you're connecting with. Yes, they're a community member, they're a neighbor, so to speak, but they have the information that you're willing to share. So just to clarify. And Chuck, that's a good point. We've learned a lot about what Eastman Security does, and this is part of being, you know, starting these supports. We can learn more as we go down the road of often. So, okay, so our resource guide. So I think I'm ready to wrap this up. I want to thank everyone for coming today and giving us your attention. I thought this was a great way to present our committee. If you're interested, we're always looking for volunteer drivers, always looking for committee members. If you want to join our committee, you're welcome. You're welcome to join us. We meet the first Tuesday of each month at 4 p.m. here at South Cove. Meetings are about an hour and a half. We meet all through the year, not in July, but we meet through the winter. It's a really nice committee in terms of we're always talking about our community and what we can do for it. We have a couple of things that we have little spaces for. It would be great to have somebody involved in providing educational speakers and reaching out to speakers. So we have that sort of position open. And also our resource guide, Becky, who's done a fantastic job for years, would love to show someone the skills that she's developed, how to format, or she's very happy to pass that along. As she said, it's good to have a second person knowing what's in her head. Right? So anyone wants to do that, would be very welcome, or just join our committee and need support. So I do wanna thank Becky, who did a lot of these slides, really made them really have some punch, so thank you, Becky. That's your skills. Becky was our liaison when she was bored, she was at Eastman on CARES committee liaison, as well as the committee members. Any other questions people have, or yes, Russell?
I help with the tables so they don't.
Okay. Yes, Carol wants to say something.
Yes, I also wanted to add, if you plan on building another house in Eastman, or if you know someone who's building a house in Eastman, and it's their retirement home, well, we only get older, we don't get younger, so designing for aging in place is where I could be helpful. So,
See, we just can't say enough about what we wanna do, we're passionate about helping others and helping our community, so.